What is going on, sexy people and friends, and welcome back to another video. Ho ho ho, it is Christmas for me all month. Today I'm sitting down with my pops. Now, if you watched the mini documentary with him before, you already know my dad's story about going vegan, but I thought I would do an interview with him where he answers some questions, especially about, people who are his age, because I feel like there's not a lot of people who are his age who are vegan. So I wanted to sit down and do an interview. By the way, behind us, this is my dad's shop. So there's plenty of cars and stuff, and it's also really cold. As you can tell, we're chilly. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so it's been almost a year now. I think it's been like 11 months since we went vegan. So basically a year. It's been a year?
It was November.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, last Thanksgiving was a vegan Thanksgiving.
All right, so it's been a year since you went vegan. When you first went vegan, did you think you were gonna stay vegan this long, or it was kind of more like an experiment, you weren't sure?
Well, I kind of thought I would. I really did. And then I also knew that you can't do it for 2 weeks and say, well, it didn't work. So I was pretty committed to continue it on. Yeah,
like if you wanted to see the benefits, because you went for health originally, you were like, you can't just go 2 weeks and quit.
Mentally, I knew it would be at least a year.
Okay, cool. So you originally went vegan or tried plant-based dieting because you saw Game Changers, the documentary, you saw the health benefits, you saw all the blood tests and stuff they did in there. And so you went for health. And then this past Thanksgiving, full vegan Thanksgiving, you mentioned meat. The idea of meat had started to gross you out where it hadn't in the beginning.
Before, whenever I would be cooking a steak and eating it, I would actually kind of put out of my mind that I was eating a chunk of an animal. Because that's really kind of gross. Chicken was starting to gross me out because we have 10 chickens running in the backyard. So you're eating a piece of chicken and you look out in the backyard and see them running around in your backyard. So basically you have to put it out of your mind.
Right.
And now I'm actually able to look at it and go, ooh, that's gross.
Well, and you said like more recently you noticed this more when you saw like a commercial or something. Do you know what the reason is, or is it just kind of like it naturally happened as you went?
It slowly happened where I was shutting off that resistance to acknowledge that it's kind of gross you're eating another animal.
Yeah, that was me too. In the first like year or two, I was just vegan because I wanted to be vegan. But I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, You're still eating steak, you're my friend. Yeah, steak's at Chipotle. But now I kind of like, that's kind of weird. There's like a bucket of cubed up animal right there next to my beans. But yeah, it kind of happens gradually. And so I think with people your age too, especially because they've had so many decades of just eating the normal way, the standard American, I think sometimes they think that they have to think that way when they first go plant-based. They have to think that things are gross, but really that's not the case. You don't have to go because you think ethically, or you think things are gross. You can go for any sort of different reasons, and for you it was health.
What it is for me is the health. It's healthier to eat the way I'm eating.
Yeah, but the longer you go, you're noticing that it is changing the way that you think. It's not completely just health. Now you're also noticing some things gross you out. You have animals, kind of seeing like, I don't really want to eat a chicken because there's chickens right there.
Little Mary's running around the backyard. Let's cut her head off and eat it. Yikes.
Okay, yeah, so this is a good one. I think this is going to be helpful for a lot of people who are your age. When you first thought about going plant-based, you saw the movie and you were like, okay, I want to try this, but then what was one of or some of your main concerns when you thought about eating plant-based?
Well, considering who you are, my concerns could be quickly solved. But one of the things that kept striking me is the common thing that everybody says is you're not going to get enough protein. You have to have some meat or you're going to get sick. That, I was very concerned that I was going to get what I actually needed to keep me going. And then I think I was 2 months into it. About 2 in the afternoon, I came home and said to you, hey, 2 o'clock, man, I'm running out of energy. You looked at what I ate. You said, oh, change this, do that, do this. And bam, the next day I wasn't feeling weak at 2.
Right.
Because you can eat incorrectly.
Right. Well, and you said this before. This is like one of the things you kind of say again and again when people talk to you about it, is it's helpful that you have me to like bounce ideas off of and stuff. But so I would say that's probably something that if people are watching right now with their parent, it's something to think about. You can't just go to McDonald's and eat the same stuff, just minus the burger. You have French fries and stuff. You do have to think about, okay, I've never thought about where my protein comes from before.
The one thing that you convinced me of in the very beginning is that you have to eat the beans and the rice together at least once a meal, or once a day, and that's going to help you. That's something about that combination makes you just feel better. And
right. Well, yeah. When I said that, it was the idea of like the carbohydrates you're eating. You want them to digest slower, so you do have that sustained energy. But then also, you do have to think about having protein on your plate. And a lot of people do this, especially like where I'm from, like fitness world. A lot of people who aren't vegan think, okay, I need my protein, so I need my meat, and then I need my carb, and then I need my vegetable. This is kind of the same thing with veganism, except I think a lot of people who are going vegan aren't athletic, so they don't come from that world of thinking about the protein on their plate. So naturally, they were already eating meat. It kind of took care of their protein. And so I think when people go vegan, they do need to think, what are sources of protein? And I need to include one of those with each of my meals. Protein from beans or tofu or seitan or wheat gluten, or I need to eat enough vegetables that I'm getting my protein in, or I need to have plant-based milk so I have protein. It's not super hard, but you do have to think about what you're doing.
You have to think. And some of the proteins that you need are not readily accessible at McDonald's.
Right.
So you have to plan it out so that you have it with you. Because now we have a refrigerator in the back that's got the stuff that I need whenever I eat.
I think that's a good point too.
When the doctor who did the knee replacement 8 weeks ago, it was funny because you always, you have to give him a list of your medicines. You got a list of all your supplements you're taking, and list anything that's pertinent. So when I was talking to him, I said, well, I don't know if it makes any difference, but I've been vegan for a year. And he says, oh no, that doesn't matter at all. He said, I tried being vegan. He said, the problem is I started gaining weight. And I thought to myself, well, you're not eating right, because I did not start losing a lot of weight. And I didn't gain weight. Everything just kept going exactly the way it was because I was eating the way that you laid it out for me.
So definitely, I think that people, when they go into it, need to keep in mind that you should be a little mindful of what you're eating. You have to think a little bit. If you are someone who's getting, as Franny says, hockey pucks at Jack in the Box every day, you're getting burgers and stuff every day, and you rely on other people making your food, it's going to be a little more difficult than if you are already cooking in the kitchen. You're just going to change the meals you're making and the recipes you're using. So it's something to think about. Okay, so for people that don't know, you're a mechanic. You have people come in all the time. So you have a lot of customers. You have a lot of outside people, you know, talking to you, and then you get their opinions and stuff. So when people hear that you are vegan, what do they say?
Well, the more common thing that will happen is I'll say, yeah, well, I'm vegan, and they'll continue on. and I have to stop them. I'll have to say, I'm vegan. And they'll stop and look at me and go, really? But then the next most common thing that I hear is, oh, I couldn't do that because I got to have my cheese. I got to have cheese. Mm-hmm. To me, cheese, even before I went vegan, cheese is kind of not good for you. Your body has to deal with it. Your body isn't designed to deal with cheese. But then I got the 50% of them, the conversation almost just stops. And they just don't even want to, they don't want to even comment. And I don't care if they want to continue the conversation on or not, because, hey, if they don't want to be vegan, then that's okay with me. But then the other group will be telling me how it's not good for me, or that they can't do it for this reason or that reason. But the shocking, the one girl that comes in, she's a young kid, and her mother was upset with me, to say it nicely. But she can't find another mechanic, so she went ahead and started sending her daughter in. And the daughter's in here, and she's talking. She sees the hat there that says "Make America Vegan Again," and she looks at it. She says, "Vegan?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, I'm vegan." I said, "Well, so am I." And then, so we went on for another, another 15 minutes talking about the modern vegan and this place down there. And when she left, I said to Franny, I said, boy, when she goes home and tells her mother I'm vegan, her mother's head's going to explode.
Right. You and this probably like 20-something-year-old girl have something in common, and her mom hates you because she thinks you guys got nothing in common. Wait, hold on. I want you to tell about Bobby real quick.
Bobby.
Real quick.
Bobby. He is just, it's his mission to convince me that vegan diet is terrible for you. He'll come in, at least once a week and explain to me the newest thing that a doctor he talked to at the VA said, or a friend told him this. And the most recent one was there was a complication with my knee replacement, which when I woke up, I started moving my leg and my leg started bleeding badly. Not a little badly, but really badly. And so they had to leave me in the hospital for 2 days to check the bleeding. And so while I'm in the hospital, I said to the doctor, I said, so does this have anything to do with being vegan? And the doctor lady says, no, not at all. The nurse lady was talking and I said, well, you know, I'm vegan. I says, you know, and do you think it caused the knee to bleed more? No. But down here at the shop, Bobby was telling everybody, oh, the reason his knee's bleeding is because he's a vegan.
He diagnosed you.
Oh yeah, boy.
Dr. Bobby.
He's vegan, so his knee's bleeding. So it's been funny to watch different reactions.
Well, my favorite part about the Bobby thing is when he ribs you for being vegan, then you rib him
for going over to AM/PM and slathering on his nacho cheese. However, in the last couple of months, at lunchtime, he's been eating a vegan burger for lunch.
Nice. It's that slow chipping away, especially with older people. They have like their set ways. It takes a while, and then things change. Right, so here's the last question I have, and I think this is probably the best one for people who are watching with their parent or someone who's a bit older. So you have a lot of customers, you have a lot of friends who are around your age, they hear that you're vegan, and they say, ooh, I wanted to go vegan one time, or I did go vegan for a few weeks or a month or something, but I couldn't stay vegan. What would be some advice that you would give for that person?
They need to check the way they were eating, check what it is they were eating, because sometimes in the past year, there have been times when I'm not eating exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you can eat your Ben & Jerry's, almost the entire potato chip aisle is vegan. You can eat improperly and that's going to throw you off. You're not going to feel well. Any diet, when you start it, in the beginning, you're going to start feeling really good. And then you may not sustain it. And you have to look at what it is you're eating and fine tune it a little bit. Where before you were eating all this stuff, and in my case, I was eating a volume of stuff. So it's kind of like a shotgun effect, man. You've got so much coming at you that you're going to get something from somewhere. Then you start cutting back to a very specific group of foods. You got to check it and make sure that you're eating the stuff that your body needs. If you're not, you're going to start showing the effects of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best advice you could give. And I think it was a good point where you're saying, like, obviously we're talking about plant-based dieting, but this would happen if you did any sort of specific diet. You know, some people do the all paleo diet. When you eat a specific type of way and it's new to you, a lot of times you don't check if you're hitting all your vitamins and minerals and stuff. And so the thing I always say to people is, especially it's harder with old people because they don't want to track their food, but if you track for a single day on chronometer.com, you can see your vitamins and your minerals, and you can see, oh, I never, ever, ever eat enough magnesium, iron, whatever it is. You Google, you say, what foods are high in magnesium that are vegan? Oh, almonds, Brazil nuts, whatever. And then now you know, if I eat one Brazil nut a day, I hit 100% of that vitamin. For the rest of your life, you're eating one of those a day, and then you never have that issue. But people don't think about that. So what you're saying there is good. Just get a baseline idea of what you're deficient in by tracking it for a single day or two, and then you can address that.
And also, once you go, it's not over. It may be 2 weeks from now, or a month from now, or in my case, it was 2 months, when you have to reevaluate. Just like the doctor, he just needed to do a little bit of research, and he could have found out why he was gaining weight on a vegan diet. Probably wasn't very healthy, the reason why he was gaining weight, because I'm guessing he was eating some very processed carbohydrates.
Well, I think that's a good interview. And now that my fingertips are freezing off, I think we can round this up. If people want to follow you, you have an Instagram.
I do. Dad loses fat.
Nice. And so Pops, he'll post every week or so. Recently, because he did get his knee replaced, he's been covering his journey with that. but he does funny stuff, he does vegan stuff, he does recipes down here at the shop, all sorts of stuff. So definitely follow Pops on there. If you are interested, or someone that you're watching is interested in plant-based dieting or veganism, definitely you should check out my Vegan Beginner's Guidebook. I think that is going to cover a lot of the problems that you're originally going to run into. That's at veganblueprint.com. It's going to really just make it a lot easier to just have a good baseline. It's something that I wish I had when I first went vegan. It's basically what my dad used, except he was just having me tell him it instead of reading the book.
It works.
Yeah, so check that out. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let us know what you thought about this in the comments below. Let us know what your questions are, or what your concerns are, or what your parents are or aren't doing. We'd love to know. And subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Go follow Pops, and we'll see you guys in the very next video.